Peter Heatley there, the chairman of the British Commonwealth Games Association, or the Commonwealth Games Federation as it's called. He was a gold medalist in diving way back in the 50s, 54, 58, and won it twice. That's not a bad effort for a Scotsman, and he did that because diving is not a sport you expect to see in Scotland. And that's the Commonwealth Games Federation flag, of course, which will come down finally today as part of the closing ceremony, and it will reappear in 4 years' time in another part of the world, in Canada.
In fact, it's handed to the mayor, who happens to be a lady, the mayor of Auckland, who will then is entrusted with the responsibility of passing it on to the mayor of Victoria in British Columbia, which is where the next Commonwealth Games will be held.
Well, the children have almost left. There's only a handful, probably 30 or 40 still to go out. The arena is vacated, therefore, and that's looking across to the band area behind them for that wonderful choir, and we should hear some magnificent music. Not only that, some magnificent singing later on.
We will indeed, from one of the great golden voices of music anywhere in the world is promised for us tonight.
Prince Edward, his first major international assignment, no doubt, as a host, and of course his father, who stood us for 35 years as the president of the Commonwealth Games Federation. Peter Heatley is in fact the chairman. Now Prince Philip is handing over to his son, Prince Edward, and he'll take over in future as the chairman.
And to add to the spirit of the occasion, we'd like to show your pride in being a New Zealander by joining in with the singing. In your official kit, you'll find the words to all the songs. Do join in. Let's show the world that New Zealand is in fine voice.
The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh arrived in New Zealand about 3 days ago. They have been down in the South Island, we understand. There have been a couple of official functions. The Queen has been out to the village to see the athletes and talk to people out there, but it is customary, I understand, traditional, Norman, for the Queen only to appear on the last day.
Yes, she arrives halfway through the games. I think there's a slight change of plans here. The Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen have been doing this for years and years and years, and I think they've decided, well, it's about time we got superannuated. Let's do it a little bit easier than we did. But Her Majesty made at least 3 presentations this afternoon after we got here, Ray. She made one before that. Well, it's a wonderful thing. But here's an idea of what the crowd can expect tonight. They're encouraged to give us a typical New Zealand roar, and don't they make a noise. Good day to win gold medals. The last day, you've got Her Majesty the Queen, you've got the Duke of Edinburgh, you've got Prince Edward. Between them, they've made about 6 or 7 presentations. Here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the closing ceremony of the 14th Commonwealth Games.
The crowd standing now for His Majesty the Queen. And that's getting close to Australia's green, is it? Do you think, Ray? It's not too bad, the colour.
National Youth Choir with the New Zealand National Anthem, God Defend New Zealand. Let's take a break. We'll come back with the athletes' arrival next.
Farming, it's a good life, serious all the same. The elements to battle with, the droughts and pouring rain. Then there's the market, changing every day. Hard work to stay on top, to catch the market gains. Then there's always pivot, we know they understand the needs of us out on the land, the things we need to plan. Pivot works for you the Australian way. We're 40,000 farmers, united in a plan to grow and prosper on our land. Together we will stand. Pivot works with you the Australian way.
Wouldn't you prefer to buy from a cooperative owned by Australian farmers?
This land belongs to all Victorians. So do these trees. But trees and power lines don't mix, which is why the trees must be pruned to make sure this never happens. SEC, working towards a fire-safe Victoria.
What can people do when they visit the Baruga Sports Club? Well, there's golf, of course, or a few sets of tennis. Lunch or dinner in the bistro. For a great night out, they visit the restaurant, open for dinner every night but Monday, and live bands at the weekend. They'll certainly try their luck at the pokies, with jackpots to go, and enjoy the Friday night happy hour. I guess they all like the friendly atmosphere. Care to join them? Baruga Sports Club, the friendly club.
Okay, folks, here we go. We're going to dial the winner of our Dinner with Tom Cruise competition.
Hello.
Hello, Julie Rankin.
Yeah?
Nice work, Julie. You've scored a dinner with Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Yes, a stretch limousine will take you to a top city restaurant, then a romantic dinner, just you and
Fantastic.
Tom.
When?
Tonight.
Tonight? I'm sorry, I can't.
What?
What? Mum's doing a lamb roast.
Oh, great, yeah.
I hope you realise I gave up a dinner with Tom Cruise for this.
Never mind, love. You can go out with him any night.
Which is our true common...
Back live at Mount Smart Stadium for the closing ceremony of the 14th Commonwealth Games here in New Zealand, which have been an outstanding success and a credit to the New Zealanders. In a moment, we will see the march on, the representatives of the 55 nations who've competed here over the last 11 days.
And we can see there the clear blue sky, just the shadow coming across the sun setting. And very soon now, they're going to march in, and here they come. Now, in the closing ceremony, the teams march on behind the marching girls here, 3 abreast, a standard bearer, a team general manager, and just 3 representatives of each team. They're ushered on by this formation of what is described as junior midget marching girls.
That's right, the midget marching girls, 7-year-olds they are. Well, the juniors, the midgets are 7 to 12, the juniors are 12 to 16, the seniors 16 plus. But as we said, marching has a great tradition in New Zealand.
Just see now the first standards about to come in, the name tags behind. Let's count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 groups of marching girls, and then the arrival of the teams themselves. It looks like they're coming in one at a time. That's going to spread this march out just a little bit. Or are they?
I think
they're three abreast.
across.
Yes, 3 abreast.
So we'll get the flag bearer, we'll get the general manager of the team, and then 3 members of the team, and there'll be 3 countries across the track as they come down the straight.
So Scotland across to Australia, and under that flag you can see just the yellow colours there, or the gold colours of Australia behind there, and marching the flag bearer, there he is, Philip Adams, the rifle shooter, or pistol shooter he is. 14 gold medals over 3 games, the greatest number of medals ever won by an Australian, surpassing Ivan Lund. Sol Spitalnik, the team general manager, was there, and you just got a glimpse there of Haley Lewis, 5 gold medals on the left-hand side. In the middle, Martin Binnicum, the cyclist, his 2nd gold medal in the time trial, and Jane Fleming, who did so well in the athletic events here, the heptathlon and the long jump. I think a good choice for the 4 of them. I imagine they'll follow the same procedure, Ray, as they did in the opening ceremony by introducing the teams as they get to the top of the straight. And that's when there's Jane. Wonderful effort here.
Yes, how proud she is, and how proud we are of her. A Commonwealth Games record in the heptathlon, a Commonwealth Games record in the long jump.
This march is not nearly as long as the opening ceremony because of the number of people there for a start and the fact that there are 3 of them across the track. Now we can see Canada just there in the background, the Canadian team. Mike Smith is the flag bearer who won the decathlon. Of course, the athletes taking their view at the moment, sitting peacefully.
Time for the athletes to have a rest, eh?
Look at the tiny tot in the middle there, Ray. There she is, Haley Lewis. 5 gold medals, equalled the greatest ever performance by any athlete from any country in any sport. First line, we have Jane just waving up into the crowd. The Australians are just moving past the whirling closure. The flags are dipped for Her Majesty the Queen. Then we have Bangladesh, Barbados, Bermuda, Botswana, British Virgin Islands, Brunei, and then back to Canada. Traditionally, they will come on in their uniforms or even in their tracksuits if necessary. They're nicely turned out, a wonderful blaze of colour, of course. And still the athletes come in.
Mike Smith, there he is, the decathlon gold medalist and Commonwealth Games record as well for that. He's probably number 3 or 4 in the world rating at the moment.
I see the flag of Cyprus down there. That was a great occasion today when a man from that country wins a gold medal.
Lisa Curry, we've got a microphone on you today, and you're not marching. You're in a position where you can just be an observer like the rest of us.
No, that's right. We're down here. The rest of the team is up a little bit further, and we're just seeing the Australians go past now. They've chosen 4 athletes to go past. But I think later in the night what will happen is that all of the athletes you can see here by the side of the ring will join together as one, as we see in many Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games, and go onto the track and have a great time. So it's really going to be a nice night tonight.
What's that cap you've got on, Lisa?
Sorry?
What's the cap you've got on? You had.
Oh,
what is it?
It's actually just covering a bad hairstyle tonight.
Bit of disguise.
We've been here most of the afternoon. It's been very hot, so we've had hat and glasses on. You know, slip, slop, slap, do the right thing.
Is there any suggestion that there might be some planned frolics from the Australian team or the others tonight, Lisa?
Oh, I don't think so. I think everyone's going to have a good time. Back at the village, they're actually preparing in the dining room a live band and the speakers that we've seen go from top to bottom. So it's going to be a pretty big night, and I think everyone's going to stay around the village. But I hope that we won't see too many antics going on.
No, I meant good antics. I mean, usually things are planned here for the entertainment, and I mean in the best of spirit for the end of the games.
That's right. Yeah, well, there's always lots happening, and I guess it's just up to the individuals to have a good time.
All right, well, thanks. Stay with us because we'll be interested in your observations. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with the Commonwealth Games closing ceremony in just a moment.
Who really cares if the prices are fair?
We do. Who's always there to show you where? We are! Who makes sure the quality's true?
We do!
Who's got the range for you? It's the people who own your local tucker bag store.
Your local tucker bag supermarket is independently owned and run, which means the people who run the store are always there to look out for you.
We'll look out for you at Tucker Bag.
Swan Hill Camera House, picture this, just can't miss for all your photos and camera biz. Picture this, a 1-hour whiz, expert knowledge from a family biz. Picture this, Swan Hill Camera House, picture this. Put a little magic in your day. The expert team can show you the way. John Perini Tiles.
Hi, I'm John Perini. If you're a builder, renovator or home handyman, we'll look after you at John Perini Tiles. Come in and talk to us about special deals on tiles, slates, bars, tools, adhesives, in fact, all your tiling needs.
Put a little magic into what you do. John Perini Tiles.
Check out the superb range of suits at Ashman's and take advantage of this very special offer. With every suit purchased during February, Ashman's will give a bonus voucher to the value of $100. You buy the suit and get your next $100 worth of clothes absolutely free. Ashman's also have a special bonus offer on sports trousers. Buy during February and get a $20 voucher with every pair. There's never been a better time than right now to buy that new suit or sports trouser from Ashman's.
Dick Smith's done it again. He's updated and reprinted the Australian Encyclopedia. You're looking at the superb 9-volume 5th edition of Australia's greatest reference work. Costs $595, but you could win one of 50 sets by answering the easy questions on the side of new Sanitarium cornflakes. 50 encyclopedia sets to win, plus 200 Australian Geographic magazine subscriptions. Get the pack with Dick Smith on the front on new Sanitarium cornflakes now.
Welcome back live to Auckland and Mount Smart Stadium as the small group of athletes symbolising the 2100 who've competed here over the last 10 days now make their way in that arc around the track. Of course, with New Zealand behind, as they always had been, bringing up the rear with the flag bearer there, Gary Anderson, who won 3 gold medals in cycling for the Kiwis.
Now, in contrast to the opening ceremony, the athletes do stay on the arena here and they've marched around and they're forming up there as they used to in old days and previous games in the opening ceremony. And that's Gary Anderson, the last man there. With him is Judy Howard, who was a bowler, Roger Harvey, who was a shooter, and Tanya Murray, who did so well to win that marathon high jump. It's the final team to come on, and they're all on the arena now. In fact, they've practically finished the march. They allowed a long time for this. It's not going to take nearly as long as they did it with.
Now, interesting, the cameras didn't pick them out, so we couldn't actually refer to them for you, but Bangladesh, for example, has one of the, as we mentioned, the shooter who won Bangladesh's first gold medal ever in the Games, was the flag carrier for Bangladesh.
Northern Ireland had Wayne McCulloch, remember the boxing young man, and the sound technician got up and sang the Londonderry Air, one of the highlights of the Games. Adrian Morehouse carried the flag for England, that wonderful swimmer, Powerhouse Morehouse, world record holder. Majesty the Queen and her son there on right, looking at this final parade of the 55 countries, which made this a record entry for the Commonwealth Games.
I notice we can see the Queen in the dais just from where we are fairly clearly, and I know she had a special smile there for the representatives of Northern Ireland when they went by. And as you mentioned, McCulloch was the boxer who won a gold medal for Northern Ireland. His Royal Highness Prince Sufri, of course, from Brunei Darussalam, was carrying the flag for them as they went by. But again, we have no control over the cameras. In this one, we couldn't pick them up for you. We just have to go with the host broadcasters who are TV New Zealand.
Now the final group have wheeled and are coming onto the grass verge, onto the area in the middle of this arena. Finally we have Western Samoa, Zambia and Zimbabwe, and behind them of course New Zealand. And in a few seconds all teams will be in position from this march on in the closing ceremony of the 14th Commonwealth Games. on completion of the march, we're just waiting now to see what's going to happen next. The athletes are still sitting there rather quietly, and if Lisa is right, they won't be going over the fence, but you never know.
Fanfare for the royal party as they return to their seats now. The Queen, as we mentioned, had been standing on that royal dais for the march past of the athletes. The Queen goes back to grab a seat and enjoy herself, as the other 35,000 people here tonight will do. There is a formal side to the ceremony, Norman. The flag has to be, the standard has to be lowered, and it has to be presented, as we say, to the Mayor of Auckland, who will make sure that it's passed on to the Mayor of Victoria and British Columbia as the standard. There are procedures, of course, and the Queen closes the ceremony tonight.
Yes, and it's very good that on the closing ceremony night, the flag, the wind is in a slightly separate direction. Previously it was blowing away to our left in the opening, now it's away to our right in the closing.
Sir David Beattie, President of the New Zealand Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association.
As President of the New Zealand Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association, I hand back to you the flag of your country, both in token of our friendship and goodwill towards you, and as a memento of the 14th Commonwealth Games in Auckland, 1990.
And now Sir Peter Heatley.
He's the chairman of the Commonwealth Games Federation.
I ask that the Federation ceremonial flag be struck.
The Auckland Junior Pipe Band, they were formed especially for these games, aged between 15 and 20. They lead in interesting, Norman, a contingent from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Yes, the Mounties.
Two of the Mounties on foot and two of them mounted. There we go. Sergeant Mike Robley and Corporal Jerry Mayo from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mounties, of course, were formed back in the last century, back in 1873, as the Northwest Mounted Police, to look after the gold rushes in the Klondike and all the mobs who were hordes who were heading up to Alaska for gold. They had very much Canada's national police, also provincial police in 8 of the provinces, including British Columbia, where the next games are going to be held. At one time, the Mounties also acted as Canada's Secret Service. They don't do that anymore, they're just the national policemen. The famous red uniform from Rosemarie is only used these days for ceremonial occasions. Normally they wear grey shirts and black pants and a black hat. But this is a ceremonial occasion.
They're coming round now to the left to us, at the top of the stand there. Now, just away to the left, if I can see it grouped up, are the people who assist in the striking of the flag, and they're athletes from New Zealand from the first games to be held here in Auckland in 1950.
It's the flag party, isn't it?
Yes, they're all there. We can see the 8 of them.
Lots of symbolism in a ceremony like this, as there was there at the opening night, with the symbolism of the making of New Zealand, basically, and the culture of New Zealand. And the symbolism now, of course, is passing on the tradition from these games to the next games.
The representatives of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police together with the Auckland Regional Junior Pipe Band, are now escorting the flag party.
The opening ceremony laid out from Auckland in 1950. The first games held here after the long break of 12 years caused by the Second World War. And strangely enough, Australia, most successful in those games. In my memory, their award-winning effort was about 36 gold medals. They've surpassed that this time. Ancient costumes. John Treloar of Australia winning the 100-yard sprint. And that was the British Empire Games, it was called in those days. Now it's the Commonwealth Games. And these are the athletes from Auckland, 1950. Pipe band is just going. There's Jean Hurring. She made a presentation. Her son was the first ever New Zealander to win a silver medal in the World Championships in swimming.
Harold Nelson won gold in the 6-mile race as it was back in 1950.
New Zealanders were good in swimming. Australia not so good in swimming those days. 440 yards hurdles. Holland is a famous name in Australian swimming, but he was a hurdler. And what a great moment this would be for the old-timers from 40 years ago.
Kerry Ashby, silver in the rowing 8 in 1950.
Yes, we made that point, Ray. Surprisingly, rowing was not in these games.
And New Zealand's so good at rowing.
Oh, Yvette Williams, she's one of the greatest ever. Very, very famous now.
Gold in the long jump in 1950, gold in the long jump in Helsinki in 1952, gold in the long jump in shot and discus in 1954 she had. You're reminded of how many golds New Zealand have won in these games and Olympic Games, Norman?
4 men, 4 women. Done very, very well indeed. New Zealand, they'll be proud of them here. 17 gold medals in these games. Easily their best ever.
The Mounties are here, we should have said, to witness the flag coming down as it does now and witness it being handed over. Lady the Mounties.
By now the flag is slowly coming down the masthead. It's about halfway down. The flag has been flying at the head of the mast since last Wednesday week, wasn't it? 11 days ago.
Hard to remember, Norman, isn't it?
Seems about 3 months ago, Ray, doesn't it? You know, it was a wonderful occasion to see it go up on the first time and then come down now finally. And of course, its path will take 4 years to get there. Victoria, British Columbia. Canada doing better than any other country, in fact, as the host of the Commonwealth Games. That will be the 4th time. They've been held 3 times in Canada, 3 times here in New Zealand, 3 times in Australia. And
let me test that computer memory of yours, Nugget. What were the 3 times in the past in Canada?
In Canada, well, of course, it's easy. Vancouver, 1954. How about Edmonton, 1978? And the other one would be Hamilton, Ontario, the very first games 60 years ago in 1930.
Easy for you.
Very careful here not to let the flag touch the ground. They want to do all this, and they will wrap the flag up, in fact, fold it, and no part of that flag, if they do it correctly, will touch the ground at all.
Now, we've noticed, although there have been the friendly games and lots of informality, the New Zealand Army officers and Army men involved here have been very formal, haven't they?
Yes, and see how they hand this over, so that the 8 flag bearers will get themselves into position, and it will be carried back along the straightaway, and it hasn't touched the soil of New Zealand one little bit.
You're a stickler for protocol, Norman.
Well, if you're going to do something, Ray, they're going to do it the right way. And
Yes,
that's what I think they do.
They've certainly done it here. Have you figured out, so you stood up at least 21 times during the swimming competition, only won 21 gold medals, but
Yes,
you stood up for every other nation's
Yes, I
national
sang 4 nations' gold medals in the swimming pool. I know the words of all of them now. Well, they made me an honorary New Zealander, so what's wrong with that? Good luck to them. They've done very, very well in these games, and it's great to see the old-timers come out, because we've seen a combination here of history, particularly with the Maoris, the past with past athletes, and also the youth, the little kids coming out and skipping and things like that, the tiny tots. And when you think of that and you think of the way these games have been carried out, there's a bit of future for the youth of our country, isn't there, Ray? When they can win 52 gold medals, they're not doing too bad. And it wasn't all youth either. Again, you see this, they will not let that touch the ground. They will do it in such a way, and they will fold it up, and they've actually, I imagine they've rehearsed this. Look how well they do it, 8 of them. Every fold is important. They'll make sure it's right. And here we go again.
They're probably as nervous here as they were when they're on the blocks with their gold medals back in 1950.
Sort of thing that never happens in my place, Ray. I'm an old bachelor living in Potts Point.
You don't fold your sheets like that, do you?
Not too well. No, they've done that well. No, they would have rehearsed that with a replica of the flag, and it comes down finally to just a small little bundle, and they're very, very pleased about that. They've done it correctly.
Seemed to be a sigh of relief there, didn't it?
Oh, yes, and there it is. That's the flag to be handed over.
Presented now to the Commonwealth Games Federation Chairman Peter Heatley, who gives it to, there you go,
yes, well done.
New Zealand's gold medal gymnast, 14-year-old Nicola.
That's the 13-year-old we were talking about, we believe to be the youngest competitor in the game. She may be challenged by a British gymnast, but let's say that she is. Nikki Jenkins, gold medal, 1990. She's not very old at all.
Beautiful young lady. Beautiful young lady. She hands it across, as we say, to Peter Heatley. He's the Commonwealth Games Federation Chairman, and he'll then give it to the Mayor of Auckland, Dame Dame Kath Tizard.
I noticed he was announced, Ray, as Sir Peter Heatley. That must have been knighted. I think that's happened just a moment ago when the public address announced it.
Could have been what delayed the Queen. There's Dame Kath Tizard.
As chairman of the Commonwealth Games Federation, I entrust this flag to your care and ask that in due time that you or your successor in office will deliver it to the chief citizen of Victoria in Canada, who will host the 15th Commonwealth Games.
This duty, Mr. Chairman, I willingly undertake to fulfill.
Time now for the Canadian National Anthem. National Youth Choir with O Canada. We'll take a break and bring you back for the cultural display in these closing games in one moment.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see it?
What, now? Sure, no problems. Meet you there in 20 minutes.
You know, darling, I think you might have found it.
About 188, I think. He's pretty keen.
Good old houses, Liz.
Buying or selling, talk to LJ Hooker.
The Naya Harness Racing Club's next meeting will be held this Thursday night at Naya.
It's the fury of the pace, it's the glory of the race, and you'll find it's so much more than what you thought.
Thursday night's meeting will feature the Victorian Sires Stakes for 3-year-old colts and geldings, heats of the EK Bray Cup, and heats of the statewide series for mares and fillies. This Thursday night at Naya.
Harness racing is our favourite family sport.
Hello, I'm Al McGovern, and over the years I've been telling you about our extensive range of furniture, bedding and electrical appliances. Well, I'm here to tell you that the time and the prices have never been better than now. Our prices are cheaper than the city, our furniture and bedding is constantly updated, so your choice is always from the very latest and the best available. So come in and see us at McGovern's.
With good old-fashioned service, McGovern's are here to stay.
Thinking fences? Think Abbott Supply, the big name in fencing. Thinking hardware? Think Abbott Supply, the specialist since 1852. Abbott with ARC, Lysart, Cyclone and Waratah will supply and erect your security, tennis court, pool, garden or farm fences at competitive prices. And Abbott's range of safety fencing can secure your pool and beautify your home. For service and inspection, you'll find them in Abel Street, Bendigo. Remember Abbott Supply, the specialists for over 130 years.
Good news, Earthlings. The B-52s have landed.
Getting up to my static in my attic from Channel Z. The Love Shack is a little place where we can get together.
From Channel Z to the Love Shack, Cosmic Thing will send your next party into orbit. Cosmic Thing. The B-52s. The new album. Buy it before they ban it.
Back live in Auckland for the closing ceremony of these Commonwealth Games. We talked of symbolism earlier. Well, this is true symbolism. We have entered the stadium now. Some representatives of the indigenous peoples of British Columbia, BC, Vancouver Island, in fact, Canadian Indians, who are escorting a totem pole, 12-metre high and 60-tonne it weighs, that was carved especially as a gift to the people of Auckland. The West Coast Salish tribe and the New Chowlith tribe from the west coast of Vancouver Island. They used to hunt whales from canoes 36 feet long, about as long as this totem pole, about as long as some of the Maori war canoes. They're renowned as friendly people. The British traders named their villages the Friendly Love. Their masks and headpieces are made of carved silver. And they're to be welcomed by a party of about 50 Maori. This time, no challenge, just a pofiri, a welcome ceremony, that's all. No challenge tonight. Tonight's the friendliest of nights.
In the meantime, all the athletes are leaving the arena. They're marching off now, and they'll take up their positions. No doubt the flag bearers will leave, and the athletes themselves will go into the area, which is away to our right, where they're all sitting there.
Let me just tell viewers that the National Line News, of course, is delayed for this ceremony tonight. It will follow immediately after the ceremony on the east coast of Australia, but we'll stay with this until its conclusion. You saw the satellite mention there. There's a similar ceremony this morning Canadian time with the raising of another totem pole on Vancouver Island. This one here, after tonight's ceremony, will in fact be left standing on the foreshore of Auckland Harbour.
The man and the woman on the pole represent the beginning of time and the intelligence of humanity. the wolf figure represents the highest authority of the New Chinese tribes. As the pole is raised here in our stadium, a Salish pole will be raised on the lawn of the legislative buildings in Victoria, Canada. The symbolic raising of these poles hopes to encourage an understanding of the Indigenous peoples and strengthen the bonds between all people of our Commonwealth countries.
And of course, the raising of that pole is not going to be a very easy task at all. I'm very interested to see how they're going to do this. I wouldn't like it to fall on my foot, Ray.
60 tonne, Norman. That's how much it weighs, and about 12 metres high. It's a sign of the times we live in, I think, Norman, that there should have been so much emphasis on the Maori culture in the opening ceremony here, and so much emphasis now on both the Canadian Indigenous people's culture and the Maori again. I don't think back in 1950 here this would have had anything like the recognition that it gets today.
But it's a good thing, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
Here he comes.
We mentioned was carved especially for this occasion by the tribes in Vancouver Island, on Vancouver Island, just off British Columbia. This particular one, as I mentioned earlier, was raised in Vancouver early today. Of course, it's halfway around the other side of the world, so this was sent in by satellite for the occasion tonight. But we're back live at Mount Smart Stadium, of course, now with those pictures. They're not on satellite, and satellite to Australia, but they're right in front of us now as they raise this 60-tonne totem pole. These, we are told, are traditional Indian songs, a paddle song, a prayer song of thanks. And songs to ceremonially open the eyes of the figure. Be a fierce sight to see after a long night, Norman.
Looks a bit like Terry Alderman when he opens the bowling, doesn't it? Actually, I felt that way this morning when I looked in the mirror. Quite amazing, though, when you see how they did that. They just sort of rocked it over slowly and just been lowered gently down to the ground.
So the Maoris in a welcome to their friends from across the Pacific Ocean. We'll take a break right now, and we'll come back after the break. The Queen's obviously interested. We'll come back after this break.
It's easy to talk about it now, but yeah, the idea of retirement frightened me. Well, I was worried. What would I do with myself? How would Liz handle it? And of course I worried about money.
Oh, we had a lump sum coming, all right, but I knew Doug was concerned. Well, so was I. Retirement's a big step.
And I'm no financial expert. The big question was, how were we going to make my lump sum last?
Well, that's why talking to ANP was the best thing we did.
Yep. You see, we didn't want to feel obligated, but we wanted advice. And AMP are the professionals.
You know, they know what they're doing. You're dealing with experts who've done it before. They listened to us and told us what we wanted to know without any fuss.
They really helped us. That's why we rolled over with them. We get tax advantages, a good return, and peace of mind.
Retirement's still a big step, but AMP made it a lot easier.
You're right with AMP rollovers.
If a major bushfire threatens your region and you elect to take shelter and defend your well-prepared property, be aware that the loss of electricity supply and severe reduction in water pressure are likely to be the first casualties. Maintaining a set of backup firefighting gear is essential for effective bushfire defence. A dam, swimming pool or water tank fitted with a large outlet make excellent emergency water supplies. You'll need a reliable petrol or diesel-powered pump to guarantee pressure. Strong hoses with wide-spreading nozzles are essential. A garden sprinkler system, especially if it can be connected to a roof spray arrangement hooked up to your emergency water supply, contributes to defending your home. When the fire front has passed and burning cinders are a further threat, metal buckets and mops and knapsacks are very effective. Remain indoors until the fire front has passed. Only face fires in full cover clothing. And think about it. Having your own emergency firefighting equipment is like extra insurance money can't buy.
The Integra safety helmet from Safe and Sound. Head protection never looked so good. Sports Peak, BMX Shield and Visor sold separately.
Back live at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland for the closing ceremony of these Commonwealth Games, as we see the Indian tribes, the indigenous people from British Columbia, escorted just off the arena by the Maoris. No challenge, as we said this time, but a porphyry ceremonial welcome and escort as they leave the totem pole, Norman, to stand up there. That defies gravity.
Yes, it's quite remarkable how clear that picture is on television. Now, we're looking here from across the grandstand. It's quite dim, isn't it? We can barely make out the Maoris behind them because the floodlights have yet to take over. It's sort of the dusk period of the day, and that is a very vivid picture on television. It's not as good. What we're looking at with the naked eye is not nearly as good as that. And of course, the Majesty of the Queen looking across from an area from the other side of the arena. We'll see that. But it is an advantage these days to have a television monitor. And a bit of activity in the athletic area, just a few roars there, and no jumping of the fence yet, but here the next part of the entertainment coming on.
Yes, the future of the Commonwealth. We mentioned before that this is the 60th anniversary of these games, and children are the future of the Commonwealth, as they are the future of Australia. And there are Maori children now to do a welcoming hooker. About 40 Maori children joined by 120 local children.
We've just had a quick estimate of the time. They're running about half an hour late, I'd say, that probably this ceremony will finish round about 9 o'clock local time.
Eastern Australian time, but we'll stay with it, and it's great entertainment. As we say, we have some wonderful music for you tonight, and we can promise you one of the finest voices in the world. Interesting, Norman, that this is being done, this ceremony or cultural display is being done in conjunction with the UNESCO. There's a fierce little bloke, isn't he? Now this is a hooker, this is a welcome. Certainly impressed the athletes. not a professional dance troupe. These are 120 untrained children, we are told, who are simply coached for this. I think the athletes are going to join in soon, Norman.
Yes, there's a little bit of agitation in the ranks over there.
The rhythm seems right. Like Australians to me. Greg Hayman in front there, our weightlifter. I think 1 gold and a couple of silvers, Norman.
Yes, from the city of Newcastle.
The lighting conditions are perfect now, Norman. It's 8:30 at night, and they put the stadium lights on, but it's beautiful light here tonight. Yes, indeed, you're watching the closing ceremony of these 14th Commonwealth Games, coming to you live on the Nine Network from Auckland in New Zealand. The idea, as we mentioned, with this has been to celebrate youth, to celebrate children, the focus of the Commonwealth's future in this 60th anniversary of the Games. I think we've got Max Walker and Mark Warren down at ground level.
Yeah, that's right, Ray, and you can feel the tempo down here starting to build. I get the feeling that any moment now they're going to jump over the fence and the place is going to be awash with athletes.
Yeah, the athletes just about ready to break ranks here. I think they've been putting in a couple of hard weeks' work here with the Games, and they're just ready to get out there and party.
In fact, that noise, and we've heard so much of it, the drums and that, it's a bit like an athlete's heartbeat. You can feel the tempo build up just before the event, and then away they go. But it's amazing what you can pick up down here. Just a quick snippet though, Ray. Richard Hadley has taken 3 wickets. He's now on 399, the second day of the Test match down at Lancaster Park against India.
All right, let's go back then live to the sound of the music here. The New Zealand children joined by children from 132 children from 22 Commonwealth countries now.
It's time for us to change. People in the one fight we'll see. It's time to set the wheels in motion. There's the whole world waiting there. It's not too late if we just give and take. We'll turn this world around. Yes, it's something to live for, something that will be done. Oh, we can work wonders. We are children that will look from the world. We can work wonders. Yeah, yeah. We can work to wonder and love. We can work wonders. We are children that will look from the world. We can work wonders. We can work to wonder and
Working wonders, these children are part of the World Vision Child Survival Program. They've been brought here by World Vision, by the organisers of the Games. The program's being run to coincide with the Games. They've raised money for universal immunisation, in this case immunisation in the countries of the Commonwealth against the 6 major child-killing diseases. Everywhere there's a World Vision office, including Australia, Canada and the UK, Ghana and Kenya and Zimbabwe, most of Africa, most of Asia. There are children here in national costume.
And from Africa we have Ghana, Kenya, Lesotho, Malawi, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe. From Asia and the Pacific, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Singapore, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Vanuatu, and Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. And this, in fact, represents the Commonwealth, and here they come.
Here come the athletes. This wasn't in the program, we have to tell you, but we were warned that anything could happen here tonight by Television New Zealand. Simply saying, when the athletes feel like coming, that's when they'll come. So the athletes joined the kids. The lady singing that, her name is Betty Ann Monga, who's the lead singer of a group in New Zealand called Ardejar, who've just had a platinum album. The backing group, Cairo, if you recognise some faces. They've backed Roy Orbison and Marcia Hines, Commodores, Kim Hart. Seems like the moment, Norman. This is the moment. These songs were written for the games. We've had this all through the games, this particular one.
I hope that temporary stage holds up. There must be almost 1,000 people on it now.
There you go, you said every age. There's no keeping them back either. Almost all the athletes are out there now, Norman. They've left the seats and the stands, and they're out there for this moment.
Yeah, the Australians there with them too. Yes, I suppose now there'll be more than 2,000 people in the middle of the arena, and they're starting to go around the track with waving their flags. The band goes on.
Hats and frisbees over there, the Royal stand as well. That'll be interesting. Just a couple of Secret Servicemen there with talking into their wrist and listening to their special earphones. And they've invited the volunteers. There are about 6,000 volunteers who've been here from Go to Woe. Unpaid volunteers, of course, to help run these games. Frisbees flipping through the sky as they were at the swimming the other day. Some good arms here, Norman. Obviously the javelin throwing.
I was hit with one the other day. Didn't see it coming, but look at the scene here.
Olympics for Melbourne, that's interesting. We just had that there. Of course, there has been the delegation, this push to get the Olympic Games after Barcelona and Melbourne. We just told Lisa Curry, of course, is out there somewhere. Lisa, can you hear me?
It must be deafening down there, right?
It is deafening, but I think Lisa's saying something, but she's out there in the middle with one of our microphones on. Can you hear me, Lisa?
Yes, I can. We're out here in the middle now. Everyone's jumping up and down on this middle thing. Sounds like it's going to break. But it's going to be a great night. I think everyone's started partying.
We can see you now. We can't really hear you, but we get an idea of the cacophony that it must be out there.
Sorry, but can't hear you.
All right. We'll just let Lisa there and let her enjoy herself, but there's obviously too much noise out there. You get the impression, you get the picture.
That's where my flag went, right? Tony Ruckle.
Tony Ruckle, who finished second, of course, in the women's marathon, who was, I think she's the favourite of our studio crew. When all the people who came in, they were most taken with Tony Ruckle. What a lovely lady she is. Born in Canada, but very much an Aussie these days, and the proudest moment of her life, she told us, when she won the silver medal for Australia. Behind the great Lisa Martin.
see April Adams there, a silver medalist, I think she was, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. 16 years old she is, and a great future she has. Diving, as we mentioned, was, I think, the best games ever for Australian diving. 3 gold medals.
Yes, 3 gold medals to Australia. Very good effort.
We'd like to mention some of these others, of course, who are on the screen. From Bangladesh, I don't think he is a shooter, but as we mentioned, they got their first gold medal ever in shooting, beating the Australians on a countback. This is the moment, it is indeed. Well, let's take a break now. We'll come back. They'll try and restore a little order here, and we'll go on with tonight's program. We'll come back in just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see it?
What, now? Sure, no problems. Meet you there in 20 minutes.
You know, darling, I think you might have found me.
About 188, I think. He's pretty keen.
Good old houses, Liz.
Buying or selling, talk to LJ Hooker.
Who really cares if the prices are fair?
We do.
Who's always there to show you where?
We are.
Who makes sure the quality's true?
We do.
Who's got the range for you? It's the people who own your local tucker bag store.
Your local tucker bag supermarket is independently owned and run, which means the people who run the store are always there to look out for you.
We'll look out for you at Tucker Bag.
It's a break from the everyday, feeling that's coming your way. One look and you're gonna say, hey, 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 can't stop it, can't stop it. Nothing beats food with a Coca-Cola. Chop, chop, can't beat the feeling. Can't fight it, can't hide it. Feeling so real, you just gotta share it. Can't beat it, can't beat the real thing. You can't fake it, can't shake it. The feeling you get from a Coca-Cola. You can't beat the feeling.
Hey there,
The incomparable voice of Rosemary Clooney
stars in your eyes.
and Miss Patty Page
Allegheny moon
singing
Your
their
silver
20 greatest hits.
can lead the way to golden dreams.
Come on to my house.
Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy.
Patty
You
Page
should fall in love with
and Rosemary Clooney together for the very first time on record, cassette and compact disc.
Welcome back live to Auckland in these closing moments of the 14th Commonwealth Games. The Queen has been enjoying herself mightily here at Mount Smart Stadium tonight.
Chairman of the Commonwealth Games Federation.
Mr. Peter Heatley, the chairman of the Commonwealth Games Federation, will invite the Queen to formally close the games now. That's if they can sort of clear the main paths and main tracks of this Mount Smart Stadium.
Rob Woodhouse, the Australian swimmer.
You beauty, he said. You beauty. It was you beauty for Rob Woodhouse and the other swimmers too.
Your Majesty, I invite you to close the 14th Commonwealth Games.
In the name of the Commonwealth Games Federation, I proclaim the 14th Commonwealth Games, Auckland, 1990, closed. And in accordance with tradition, I call upon the sportsmen and sportswomen of the Commonwealth to assemble in 4 years' time in Canada, there to celebrate the 15th Commonwealth Games. May they display cheerfulness and concord, so that the spirit of our family of nations may be carried on with ever greater eagerness, courage and honor for the good of humanity and the peace of the world.
What a marvellous picture it is, Norman, down there. I think the Queen was actually taken aback herself when she stood up to speak there, and there was all this happening in front of her.
Yes, but they did keep quiet.
Oh, yes.
It was quite good, because as soon as Her Majesty walked up to speak, there was a real degree of quietness there, and the athletes are very, very good-natured. There's no problem with misbehaviour.
No, they're wonderful. Oh, wonderful. We have a Royal New Zealand Air Force fly past. The Kiwi Reds adieu. We have a pyrotechnics display that'll be familiar to Australians. Fireworks by Sid Howard and the Australian Pyrotechnics Company from Kempsey in New South Wales, who did all the pyrotechnics. Okay, here come the New Zealand jets. They used to be Australian in the Fleet Air Arm, and they're now Kiwi jets. This picture is live. What a marvellous picture it is. Not the All Blacks, but the Kiwi Reds, they're called. Skyhawk Jets.
Right, that was the sound barrier they went through.
That was called a bomb-bust display. That's what it is, a bomb-bust display. I think your pacemaker got a bit of a turn then, didn't it?
Yes, I was a bit troubled by that. I almost wore one of those bungee jumpers in the first night, and that was a bit too much for me. I'm getting a bit old, Ray. I can't stand all this excitement.
Well, you're doing fine, Norma, just fine.
To say farewell to the head of the Commonwealth and their Royal Highnesses. Please welcome Dame Kiri Takanawa.
Dame Kiri Takanawa. 140,000 people in Auckland turned out for her concert here the other night. This was the big surprise of the night.
Well, not really a surprise.
Well, what a gorgeous lady this one is. watch. Wow. What do you say about that, Norman May? It's quite extraordinary. Quite extraordinary. I guess of the several thousand guests we've had on the midday show, no one has been better than Dame Kiri Takanawa, and no one could have been better tonight.
Well, that lives up to the best I've seen, and no doubt Mr. and Mrs. Hawke enjoyed it thoroughly. The royal party is on the open car at the moment, going around the track.
It must be a nightmare for the Secret Service men and women who have to protect the dignitaries here, but with all those crackers going off and rockets and so on, and all the athletes now so close, but everyone seems to be calm as they should be. They've been that sort of games.
Well, I saw the Queen first do this in Christchurch in 1974 in a similar situation with the Duke of Edinburgh, and they actually sent the car around again. Now that there is absolutely no problem here. That's so good-natured. They'll make room for them. They'll go around very, very slowly. And that was as good a closer to a closing ceremony I have ever seen.
The Queen and Prince Philip have only made about 100 yards, I suppose. They've got to make their way through, wind their way through these athletes, and the rest of the people are out in the centre of the stadium here.
You're going back a few years, Ray. We went metric in the Commonwealth Games in 1970. So I'll give it to you again. Well, 100 metres.
About 100 metres, there you go. 110 yards. We hope you're enjoying this tonight. It's certainly, we're enjoying it here. It's such a colourful display. 400 shells there were. There you go. There's Lisa Curry and some of those Australian medal winners. 400 shells they had in that pyrotechnics or fireworks display here tonight. Great shot of Mount Smart Stadium with several thousand people, and there in the middle of the top right-hand side of your screen is the Queen and Prince Philip.
Well, I mean, you look around the grandstand here, and we're right in the middle of a big grandstand. You can't see anybody who hasn't got a smile on their face. Including Ray Martin.
Oh, absolutely. Dame Kiri, I've smiled at her any day of the week. Certainly, we said it, there wouldn't be a dry eye in the house when Dame Kiri sang tonight, and I think shots of her there, she's crying as well, the tears going down her cheeks. Lisa Curry, can you hear us there?
Yes, I can. This is great. This is what it's all about. This is the end of the Commonwealth Games. It seems so short distance of time when it started. Now it's all over. It's actually quite sad.
It is quite sad, but it's been a wonderful 2 weeks, hasn't it? I think Lisa might have gone out of range for us again. It's almost as tough making contact with Lisa out there in the middle as it was winning the 50-metre sprint there, Norman.
Yes, well, the Royal Progress isn't so bad. They're getting across right opposite us now. They've only got about more than 120 metres to go, and they veer outside the stadium.
Now, when have you seen the Queen looking that happy in recent times?
Oh, radiant.
It's a great time, isn't it?
And Prince Philip, you know, is retiring now as the president of the association, the federation, and superseded by Prince Edward, and he's had a long run, 35 years in that regard, and it's nice to see him. I suppose everybody's entitled to superannuation sometime or other in their life, and he's had a wonderful career as far as that is concerned by keeping these Commonwealth Games going. And after you've been here for 11 days, you couldn't imagine you'd be any more successful, could you?
You can't imagine. This is the moment indeed as the band sings along. This is the moment. The birds, the white doves or seagulls, I think they were actually, that in the opening ceremony you can see alongside the royal party now. They've rounded out the 10 or 11 days of these 10 days of competition of these Commonwealth Games. They were here on the first night, and they're here to say farewell to all the athletes and all the viewers around the world as well. Canadian flags and Australian flags. There's the New Zealand Prime Minister and the Minister for Sport here. They have every reason to be proud, Norman. They've the potential for disaster, technically and otherwise, in a Commonwealth Games, something as big as this with 55 nations, was enormous. But the Kiwis have pulled it off to enormous credit to themselves.
Everything went right. We had our fingers crossed about the opening ceremony. That would have been absolutely ruined if it rained.
Bob
Hawke, exactly too. And
Mrs. Hawke.
Yes, the weather was so important to their effort. Even tonight, the weather was so important. We did have rain here for a couple of days, and still the royal vehicle has about, I'd say, 30 or 40 metres to go. This is the moment, and it is a great moment in the history of the Commonwealth Games. I can remember years ago, 1966, they said it might be the last time they've ever held. Well, they've come back bigger and better, haven't they?
It's a wonderful shot and a wonderful moment. Right, as the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh try and make their way out of the stadium here. Let's take a break and we'll come back live from Auckland in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the closing ceremony.
There's a lot of mad dogs going round, but lucky I asked Amy. Lucky I asked Amy. Lucky I asked Amy.
Of British Columbia, which is the site of the 15th Commonwealth Games in 4 years' time. But right now the athletes, and I think the rest of the people here, don't want to go home. Aussies walking by who've obviously come across to see this, Norman, who are saying, well done Australia, and black faces and Africans and Papua New Guineans and the Pacific Islanders all going by as they see us here with the Australian flag saying, well done Australia.
And there's the boxing kangaroo. Not surprising, Australia have just competed. That Hayley Lewis, I can see that just, I think it is. Hayley's there, just into the left there, facing us now. That's her, isn't it? No, it's not.
No.
I just thought it was the black hair. Anyway, Australia has
It's one of our
competed
sprinters.
the best ever games for Australia in many respects and by a long way. We finished with 52 gold medals, 54 silver, 56 bronze. A total of 162 medals, which is a record for any country. 52 gold medals equals the previous record set by England in 1986, but it must be remembered in 1986 there was a major boycott by 33 countries, so only 26 countries competed. So Australia has the best ever, record-breaking performance, wonderful effort by the team, and what an occasion to finish the games.
It is quite marvellous. Okay, we've got Max and we've got Mark down on the fence. I'm surprised you haven't jumped over the fence and joined them, fellas.
Well, it is unbelievable down here, Ray and Nugget. Honestly, the athletes deserve a party. I believe they're going to have one shortly. They've made arrangements to be picked up here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one hell of a bash too, Max, but this is, I think, the best part of the games, and you see athletes from all different parts of the world, different parts of the Commonwealth, arm in arm celebrating. This is what it's all about, the friendly games.
And there's so many of them here. I mean, some have won, some haven't. In many ways, it's a marvellous moment. In others, it'll be sad. The friendships that have been welded during this past 10 days or so really have been incredible. And just to stand down here and feel the vibrations, the noise, the colour, the sound, the jets overhead, see the Queen go by, honestly, as Bill Laurie would say, it really is all happy.
Yes, indeed. It's interesting, Norman, and fellows down the fence there, that we've got about 300 athletes who performed at these games, but each time we look at the cameras and look there, we see Australian T-shirts or Australian sweatshirts or Australian Guernseys. I think there must have been a lot of swapping of Guernseys and T-shirts going on.
Yes,
well, it's new games for me. Keep going, Max.
I think that the Australian outfit is very becoming. I think the designers have done a fantastic job, and it seems to me that with all the gold medals and that have been won by Australia, 52, that seems to be the souvenir to take home. I think from here on in, athletes, officials and just spectators will be looking for that something extra. I know there's a big exchange of little pins going on, but honestly you don't know who's from which country at the moment. There is just tracksuit tops from everywhere.
Yeah, and I think the Australian outfit is one of the, of course, one of the collector's items from these games, the 1990 games. And are the Canadians going to have to put a big effort in 1994 to make up for the tremendous hosting job that the Kiwis have done here?
I'm sure they will. The Canadians, we understand, are quite disappointed with their tally of 35 gold medals, and we know that, there you go, 3 hits. I think that's an effort by the organisers to try and clear the stadium here tonight, because the ceremony's supposed to be over, but no one wants to go home. I mentioned the Canadians, we can depend on them doing a fabulous job at this next Commonwealth Games.
Interesting you mentioned the 35 gold medals won by Canada, because on every occasion the games have been held in the Southern Hemisphere, the Australians have won them in terms of gold medals. And the only time the Australians have been successful in the Northern Hemisphere was in Edinburgh in 1970. So now it means that Australia have won the gold medal count. I emphasise gold medal count only, 7 times. England have won 6, and Canada once. Now, Canada's once was in Edmonton, where we met for the first time as Commonwealth Games reporters, Ray, in 1978.
We did indeed. I think this outdoes those Edmonton games, I have to say, just in terms of the spirit and enjoyment. Norman, part of it, again, people sitting at home and watching this, we hope you're enjoying the coverage tonight, enjoyed the games. About 200 people on the Nine Network who've come across here to cover these. You see the ugly mugs of people like me and Norman around the place, but behind the scenes there are lots of heroes and heroines who put this together for you, producers and cameramen and camera women and sound people and engineers and technicians and producers. It's a great credit to them, Norman. You've done 7 or 8 of these, but they are really quite superb.
Yes, a new games for me. For the first time ever, I've worked fully with a commercial network. The very early games we did on the Olympic Games, 1964, 68, 72, 76, etc., were combined deals with Australian television. There it is, once in a lifetime, Victoria 1994, that we did combine with the commercial networks and the ABC to cover these games. And now for the first time I've worked in a team, and it really has been a great operation. There is no question about that, because remember, we assembled before the game started, and I tried to make the point that it is an operation where every person in that team is important. And Lisa Carey, of course, she was originally considered to be a member of the team in the broadcasting century. She swam so well, she became a competitor.
Can you hear us, Lisa? We can see you, but we can't hear you.
You can hear me singing. I hope you can't hear me singing, because I can't.
We can, in fact. We want to talk about that. I thought I was bad enough in the shower, Lisa.
Sorry, what was that?
I won't repeat that. I was going to say my singing is just about as bad as that in the shower, but we can certainly see you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
She's doing well.
You had fun?
Yes,
congratulations. That's the word that they're all saying. Congratulations to everybody.
I'll just finish off by saying about the Channel 9 team. It is the best team I've worked with in any games, and what has been done here has been a tremendous job technically, on the production sense, the cooperation between people, and the desire by everybody to put the games across in the proper way. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, well, we won't pat too many of these of our colleagues on the back, although we should, but just to let you know that you don't just switch on the television and get coverage as these people have brought you this time. It really has been quite an extraordinary operation. Anyway, enough of that. We hope you've enjoyed them over the last couple of weeks. We hope you're enjoying tonight as well. Got a Jane Fleming there, and I don't think they're going to turn them off tonight. They're going to have to turn the lights off, Norman, I think.
Yes, well, the ceremony is officially over once the royal party, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh and Prince Edward leave the venue. they've all gone and they've announced that the opening ceremony is concluded. But I think this is sort of a postscript, and I'll keep this going, keep the music going. I don't imagine the athletes. There's Julie McDonald with Lisa. Julie McDonald, of course, gold medalist. The great race of the games, I thought, in swimming. Julie McDonald, Janelle Elford. Lisa, of course, a great success. These games have had many, many moments, and this is the moment. On the board, can you pronounce the French there, Ray? You're a man.
Gee, I'll pretend I can't see that far, Norman.
Une occasion unique. Is that what? You're a man from near Montreal in the old days, weren't you?
I honestly can't see that far without.
Well, it says UNE-OCCASION, unique in English. An occasion unique. Victoria, 1994. I thought I was the only commentator who couldn't see. I've been told that a few times.
You've been called by night, have you? No, well, not at all. That's a long way away.
Yes, the band will keep playing, I think, until the athletes leave. And slowly the spectators seem to be drifting away, but a lot of them are still here. But in the middle, I suppose there are still, what, 1,000, 1,500 still there?
Oh, easy, I would say. And those magic memories that we do have that we hope that viewers in Australia have had too. Of the Samoan lady. Remember the Samoan lady bowler who got complaints from some competitors because she enjoyed herself too much and made too much noise on the rink? She went by a little earlier here carrying the flag for Samoa. That was wonderful. The swimmer from Zimbabwe who trains with crocodiles. He said he doesn't get a good chance to train in the lake near him because he's got crocodiles across there.
He swam the same time in over 50 metres as Lisa, 26 seconds dead, and they said, well, that makes you a pretty good swimmer. And Lisa came out later and did 25.8, so he's got problems to race her.
And what about the young bloke from Swaziland, Remington, whatever his name was, who swam that breaststroke on his own? There were no other competitors, and then he turned around and swam in the 50 metres freestyle sprint.
Yes.
Wonderful moments. The Isle of, I'm just thinking of you in the swimming, the Isle of Man relay team that was lapped in the 4x200 metres relay, and they got a bigger round of applause than even the Kiwis.
Well, they're great swimmer, Stigant. He was the flag bearer tonight, and they went in everything and had the time of their lives. You notice when you look out there, the Australians are still there. I think they're going to be last to leave.
They're probably waiting for the bus. All right, let's take a break right now. We'll come back with the finale. We've got some great pictures for you right at the end. Let's take a break, though, right now.
There was a time when nothing could be done. Those times have changed.
Safety helmet from Safe and Sound. Head protection never looked so good. Sports Peak BMX Shield and Visor sold separately.
Welcome back, Australia, to Mount Smart Stadium here in Auckland live. You can see it's about 20 minutes past 9 almost in Auckland, and no one wants to go home. Maybe a few from the official stand, but otherwise we haven't. And down in the centre, there are about 1,500 people on the fence near us. I think we've got a couple of our golden girls, Julie McDonald and Lisa Curry.
Well, here we are down at the closing ceremony. And I can tell you what, it's been one of the best closing ceremonies. It's been lots of fun. Everyone's been on the field. Julie, how do you feel?
I feel great, Lisa. It's just a great way to finish off a great week of swimming and athletics and everything, bringing home heaps of medals, and it's just a great way to finish.
Actually, we were saying earlier on what we would be feeling like now, and I guess the whole team's really happy. And Angela behind me is from Muriel. She might want to say hello.
This is unbelievable! Woo!
Say hello to Muriel.
Hello, Maury!
And Susie over here.
Susie. Hi, everyone back in Brisbane.
Yay! We'd like to say hello to Brisbane and to Queensland and to all Australia. Thanks very much for
I want to say
Thanks very much for a great games. We've had a ball.
Hi to Darren and hi to Jay and family. Hi.
All right. Thank you, girls. It's pretty obvious that you're happy with what you've gone through tonight and what you've gone through for the last 11 days or so.
Well, I'm saying good night now, Ray. It's been wonderful to be with you. Great games. One that we'll never forget. That's all I have to say. Farewell to Auckland.
There's the top shot of Auckland. It's done themselves proud. That's it. Thank you, Norman May. Thanks for tonight and the opening and the swimming. We loved it. Thanks to the 200 or so who put the games together for us and the National 9 coverage, all our commentators. Thank you at home, especially those of you who joined us as you have the last 10 days. Good night, everybody. We'll see you, I guess we'll see you at midday. Bye-bye, Australia.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports, your Commonwealth Games network.
The Commonwealth Games, brought